vidveshavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Durena hyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanamanvichcha kripana phalahetavaha buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmad yogaya yujyasva yogah karmasu kaushalam karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gacchancha namayam yada te moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha shruti vipratipannate yada sthasyati nischala samadhavachala buddhihi tada yogamavapsyasi. So we are doing, Bhagavan says, Buddhau Sharanamanvichcha. Very beautiful, quotable quote. We can memorize. Always, this can be a guiding light in your life. Buddhau Sharanamanvichcha. Find your answers in your attitudes. When you don't find the answer anywhere in the world, you have a problem and you want an answer, and when you don't find an answer anywhere in the world, you will definitely find it in the change of your attitude. Ultimately, it is a general statement. General statement. Sometimes there are certain problems which are solvable through material things. Like when you don't have money, then you get money, okay. Sometimes you have money, but still you are unhappy, then more money is not going to help you. You see, you have enough money and still you are unhappy. You want more money. By getting more money, you are not going to be happy. Therefore, where lies the answer? Change of vision, change of attitude means your growth. You have to grow. In your growth, you will find your answers. In your growth, you will find it. Like a small child is not able to walk. Where lies the answer? In the child's growth. A child is, 6 months old child, 1 year old child wants to get up and stand up and run, not able to stand. So it's a problem for the child. Now where lies the answer? In the growth of the child. As the child grows, then he will be able to stand and also run. Unless the child grows, will not be able to stand. Unless the child grows, will not be able to run. This is the truth. Similarly, a lot of problems that we feel in our minds have no answers unless we grow. Growing better and better in our attitude, change of attitude. Growing, it's not a mere change, rectifying our attitudes, editing our attitudes. bettering our attitudes, bettering our attitudes. In bettering our attitudes, we find answers. That Krishna says, that is your best refuge. That is your best sharanam. You are your refuge. You become the answer to yourself. You become the answer to yourself when you change attitude. And as long as we want to find answers outside, maybe in life certain answers we may find, maybe certain answers we may find outside, but then not that every answer we are going to find outside, no. There are certain answers we have to find within ourselves. If you are not able to live with another person just because you don't like the person, then where lies the answer? You don't like the person. But why you don't like the person? There is no logic behind like or dislike. You don't like. Pata nahi kuch prarabdha. You don't like. But yes, you have to live with the person. But you don't like the person. Therefore, living with a person whom you don't like is synonymous, is equal to suffering. You are suffering. Therefore, in order not to suffer, what do? Start liking, or at least withdraw your dislike. I have no right to dislike. I have no right. He is like me, or she is like me. Why should I dislike my mother-in-law or my daughter-in-law? This is what is called, this is what we call, unreasonable dislike. Now, if I am suffering because of my own dislike, tell me where lies the answer? Like this, if you go on analyzing in life, a lot of answers you will find within yourself. And finding out answers within oneself becomes the method of growing. Is the way to grow. The very effort to find an answer within myself becomes an incentive for growth. The very effort to find my answers within myself, the very effort to find answers within myself, it encourages me to change. It encourages me to grow. Therefore, please, don't think all the answers we have to find outside. Maybe some answers are in Adi Bhutam, but a lot of answers are in Adhyatma. So you fall sick, and then we think doctor is the answer. But the doctor ultimately says you have to cut down your consumption of alcohol. Then what do you do? Then where lies the answer? In myself. You have to consume less. Or a psychiatrist will say you have to talk less. You have to talk less. Your problem is you talk too much at home. You don't allow anybody else to talk. Therefore they don't like you. Because you are eloquent, because you have the language, because you are convent educated, you don't allow your mother-in-law to talk, your father-in-law to talk, your daughter, anybody else to talk, because they're all coming from a lesser, schools, and you are, your Hindi is very good. You have a very, you are very eloquent in your Hindi. You are very eloquent in your English. Therefore, you don't allow others to talk, because you're all the time dominating, because you have a very dominating language, and therefore nobody likes you. And then you go to the psychiatrist. Why people don't like psychiatrists? Say, talk less. If he's an intelligent psychiatrist, he would say, talk less. Then everybody will like you. Learn to listen. And where lies the answer? Yourself. yourself. In fact, most of the times the answer is within oneself. If sluggishness is the problem, where is the answer? Self. If restlessness is the problem, where lies the answer? Oneself. In fact, as we go on thinking, we will discover, in fact, most of the answers in life lie within oneself. Pakka. In view of this fact, Bhagavan Krishna says, Buddhav Sharanam Anvicha. Seek refuge in your own attitude. Seek refuge, find answers in your own attitudes. Change the attitude and feel comfortable. Change the attitude and feel comfortable. When you are uncomfortable, nothing but change of attitude can make you feel comfortable. And what can really, the sanity that can help us change in our attitudes is, well, the others are like me. There is no difference between one human being and another human being. Everybody wants to be and be comfortable and be peaceful. Everybody wants to be and be comfortable and be peaceful. Nobody wants, I don't want others to trample on my toes. Therefore, I should also keep off from the others' toes. So that fundamental principle of live and let live can help us change our attitudes. It is that fundamental sanity that comes to bear on our thinking. That fundamental principle should be allowed to bear on our thinking, bear on our attitudes. Live and let live. Is God's principle, please. If there is God's law, that law is only this: live and let live. Live and let live. That is called dharma. Live and let live. And trying to control somebody, I want the other person to listen to what I say. This trying to control and rule. You see, some people have the desire to rule the whole world. Another person wants to rule the whole country. Another person wants to rule the whole state. You want to rule at least a few individuals. मुझे मौका नहीं मिला दुनिया को चलाने के लिए, देश को चलाने के लिए, राज्य को चलाने के लिए. 2-4 लोग मिला है घर में, मौका क्यों को? 2-4 लोग मिला है. There are 2-3 people. Why not I rule these 2-3 people? Hey Ramachandra, this is what is the villain. What spoils life is trying to control and rule others. Hey, leave others, let them rule themselves. Leave them alone. Let them live. Let them breathe free. Leave them. Let them live peacefully. It's so wonderful to see others living peacefully, freely, comfortably. Jeene do. Oh, jeene do. It's like, when a person is fast asleep, do you like disturbing? You don't want to disturb. Similarly, if somebody is living in peace, don't disturb. Don't disturb. Thus, this fundamental principle of live and let live encourages us to change our attitude. And in that changed attitude lies every answer in life. In that changed attitude lies every answer. That is why Bhagavan says, Buddhav Sharanam Anvicha. And in this present context, what Bhagavan says is, now I have given the general view. The specific point that is made in the context of the present teaching is, actions create problems. results also create problems. Actions create problems because you can never perform an action to your liking. Even if you perform something which is to your liking, you are never completely happy with your performance. I should have done better, etc. I should have worked longer, etc. Therefore, action never seems to make us happy. Results also never seems to make us happy. I am never satisfied with my way, with my performance, and I am also never satisfied with the results that I get. There is a constant dissatisfaction with one's efficiency, with one's competence, with one's output, and also with one's results. It is there. You go anywhere. Nobody can feel happy. Even if he feels happy, on a given day he feels happy with his performance, all right, like our cricketer. One day he feels very happy with his batting. Next match, he is not. Have you ever seen even the best batsmen having their bad days? My God. You can't contrast it. One day he is top of the world. The other day, and another time, he is depressed. Therefore, this elation, depression, now elation, now depression, now elation, now depression is a part of action, is there associated with our actions. And similarly, result, it never creates equanimity in our mind. Results always buffet the mind. Now it elates the mind, now it depresses the mind. Therefore, this what we call raga, dvesha, this elation and depression, these two things are the main problems. Actions create in us elations and depressions. Results also create in us elations and depressions. Now the question is, what is wrong? Let me enjoy a few moments of joy today, and then a few moments of depression tomorrow. What is wrong in it? Krishna says it is not conducive for understanding the truth. That's not a part of growth, that is a part of stagnation. It is swabhavikam. I've said a very big thing, if you have followed. Elation, depression symbolizes, is a sign of stagnation. Equanimity is growing. Equanimity, composure is growth. Composure, if I am able to compose, if I am able to live with composure, I am growing. If I am able to, this is an effort. Composure is my effort. Elation and depression is swabhavikam, is an impulse. And to get stuck with an impulse is stagnation. To shake off an impulse. And then to shake off an impulse is growth. Is composure swabhavikam? Is it an impulse? Does it come automatically? Does composure come to you naturally? Does composure come to you naturally? No. Composure doesn't come to you naturally. Composure I have to earn. We have to earn composure. I have to make an effort for composure, and that effort is in the form of changing attitude. I have to become more reasonable in my mind. I have to become saner in my mind. I have to be more logical in my mind. I have to become more tolerant in my mind. I have to really become a thinking person to invoke in myself to get back my composure. Composure is purushartha. Composure is purushartha. Whereas elation and depression is swabhavikam. Swabhavika means an impulse. To feel elated is an impulse, and to feel depressed is an impulse. To laugh is an impulse, and to cry is an impulse. What else? If you get something, you feel nice, and when you lose money, you feel unhappy. Then you get some money, then you feel, start celebrating. Thus, we have to recognize this elation and depression, it only symbolizes stagnation. And stagnation means impulse. And impulse is not conducive. A life of impulse is not conducive to registering the truth of our being. Because the whole Shastra is trying to tell us that we are that eternal truth. And to understand that statement, I have to be peaceful. And peace is negated when I am in the hands of an impulse. If I am vulnerable to elation and depression, then I am vulnerable to any mood. I am all the time vulnerable to moods. Now elated, now depressed, now angry, now jealous, now hatred, now moody. That's what is called. All the time I am moody. Moody means what? I am moving from mood to mood. That is called moody. The one who moves from mood to mood. In fact, he doesn't even decide to move. He is helplessly moving. He is not in charge of himself. He is not in control of himself. Therefore, here Krishna says, well, the elations and depressions caused by actions, the elations and depressions caused by the results, you neutralize them by taking refuge in your change of attitude. What is the attitude? Bhagavan is karma adhyaksha and Bhagavan is karma phala data. Very huge statement. I am able to do my actions only I take help of the natural laws called God's laws. You see, I am able to stand up because of the physical laws. I am able to sit down because of the physical laws. I am able to walk because of the physical laws. I am able to lift my hand because of the physical laws. Eat because of the physical. In fact, every action is governed by physical laws. Physical law. L-A-W-S. Physical laws. You understand? Laws. Physical laws. Bhagwan ka कानून. Bhagwan ka. Now think of doing an action minus the physics. And what we call the physics, the laws of physics are not really a scientist's laws, they are God's laws. Therefore, I am able to function only by means of, on the basis of, or with the help of God's laws. God's laws help me function. That makes God karma adhyaksha. Karma adhyaksha means the one who facilitates my functioning. The facilitator of actions. God's laws facilitate my sitting, standing, going, coming, eating, drinking, doing, everything, thinking. Minus those physical laws, I cannot function. And physical laws don't think, just the laws in nature. They are not nature's laws. They are laws in nature, but they belong to Bhagavan, because the entire nature is rooted in God. There is a source behind matter. That source behind matter is God, and the laws operating in matter are also rooted in Bhagavan. Therefore, if it is just as this creation is God's creation, the laws operating in creation are also God's laws. Therefore, God's laws, which we secularly called physical laws, they are God's laws, but we otherwise call them physical laws, but they are God's laws, which facilitate my functioning And therefore, Bhagavan is Karmadhyaksha. Therefore, Bhagavan is Karmadhyaksha. So, if Bhagavan is Karmadhyaksha and if he is able to function, if he is able to help me function, then I should do it with devotion to him. I don't really, what should make me happy is not the quantum of action, not the quantity of action. What should help me is the quality of action and the quality of attitude. Have I done the right action with the devotion? Have I done the right action with the devotion? If I have done the right action with the devotion, I should feel happy. But generally we think less of the quality and think more of the quantity. This particular thing, please don't underestimate. Please don't underestimate this problem. Even though we keep repeating, it is not the quantity that is important, it is the quality. But actually all the time what becomes important in life is quantity. इसको पकड़ना चाहिए. This topic को you should not leave it. We make a mistake of giving importance to the quantity, not the quality. Quality we don't care. Quantity, because we are all gross thinking people. Human beings are so gross, they respect quantity, not quality. Respect quantity, not quality. And therefore, if we really become aware of the quality rather than the quantity, then I should be happy for having done the right action with the right attitude. If I have value for the quality, then I should be happy with right action. Even if I have not done for a long time, even though it's not a huge action, even though it's not amount-wise, it's not much, but a small deed, a small action, but right action. I haven't worked the whole day, but in 5 minutes I spent then comforting someone who is uncomfortable. I think this is the right action. Even though I haven't made huge amounts of money, but I have made all those people who work under me comfortable. This is the right action. I should feel happy with that. Therefore, try to think in terms of the quality of your action and the quality of your attitude rather than the quantity, and that is called Karmadhyaksha. If I have done the right action with the right attitude, I should feel equanimity, tranquility in my mind. Similarly, when the result comes, if I receive it, in fact, understand, we become spontaneously receptive of our result. We receive our results without complaint if we have done our action with the value for quality. If our value is for the quality of action and the quality of attitude, then definitely we are ready to accept the result whatever comes. If our motive is for quantity, I tell you, we are ever dissatisfied. If our motive is for the quantity, we are ever dissatisfied. That is why Bhagavan says, Buddhav Sharanam Anvichha. Solve your problem. Solve your greed in the change of your attitude. Solve your dissatisfaction with the change of your attitude. Solve your unreceptive attitude also in the change of your attitude. Buddhav Sharanam Anvichha. Kripanaha phalahetavaha. Those who work only for money and the quantities, those who think in terms of quantity, not the quality, quantity, not quality, they are what? Kripanaha. Kripanaha. For a lack of a better word, I am using this word. Stupid are those who work only for quantity. Quantity is not one. What is the quantity of happiness? Supposing, I'll tell you how I think this is going to work. I'll give you an example. You wanted your daughter to be very rich, okay? Because you were thinking in terms of quantity, not only for you, quantity for your daughter also. It's always better to leave the daughter to think for herself. You better not think for her. Because if you think for her, you will think for her the same way you have been thinking for yourself and making a mess of your life. It is better that she thinks for herself. Let her think for herself. You wanted, quantity for the daughter, and she becomes so unhappy. Then you discover, my God, it is not the quantity that matters. Even if she has got a humbler situation, I want her to be happy. That means why? Anything that makes you happy, that's quality. Quality makes you happy. Quantity makes you greedy. Quality of anything, quality makes you happy. Quantity, the more you think in terms of quantity, it makes you greedy, because it's never enough. It's never enough. Quantity makes you greedy, quality makes you happy. Do you know what is quality? Enough is quality. Whatever I have got, this is enough. That is called quality. That makes you immediately happy. It's a quality of attitude. God has given me this house, okay. Let me be happy with whatever I get for my effort. It's the right attitude. It's a quality attitude. And the quality attitude gives you happiness. And it's not enough. I want more. Is it what? It's not a quality attitude. It is a quantity seeking attitude. It's greed. Doesn't make you happy. Therefore Bhagavan says, find your answers in the change of your attitude. And change of your attitude means rectification of your attitude. And all your answers are within yourself. Understand, this is one thing. You can never find your answers outside yourself. You come up with any example. In any situation, ultimately you have to fall back on yourself. Suppose you go to Bhagwan. I am giving you a very, very classical example. So you have been a great bhakta of Bhagavan. Bhagavan says, Bahut din se you have been praying to me, and I know, I am aware of it. आप आ जाओ हमारे दुनिया में आ जाओ, गोलोक में आ जाओ. And then you go to God's world and God is there. And then you thought you are the only bhakta, but there are thousands of bhaktas like you. He has to give time to them also. You have to wait in the queue. Now you feel bored. Now what do? Where do you find the answer? Now you can't fall back on God. God is not the answer now, because God is a part of your problem. God is a part of your problem. God ne bataya, aa jao. And then when he went there thinking that he is going to give all his time to you, you can sit with him and then talk to him the whole day and night, the whole life. And then after going there, you discover, my God, you don't really count there. And there is an inner circle, and then there is a second circle, and there is a third circle, then there is an outer circle, and you don't become a part of any circle, you are an outsider. Now, this baithe raho. Now you are getting bored. Where lies the answer? Titiksha. First, repent for what you did. Repent for what you change of place. Maybe if I go to that loka, I will be happy. Is a mistake. And now that you have made a mistake, now accept that. And now what do? Develop titiksha and wait. Absorb your restlessness within yourself. Contain your restlessness. Contain your boredom. Ultimately, you have to swallow. You are angry. Who is going to swallow your anger? You are angry. Who is going to swallow your anger? You have to swallow. Who is going to swallow your greed? Who is going to swallow your frustration? Ultimately, you have to swallow your poisons. I have to swallow all my poisons. Nobody is going to swallow my poisons. Nobody is going to swallow. मैं झूठा भी कोई नहीं लेते हैं. हमारा poisons who is going to take? Understand? Nobody is going to take. To think that somebody is going to take your problems is a myth. You have to solve it. This is the meaning of the verse. And therefore, when you are unhappy, restless, don't feel helpless. You are the answer. You are the answer, and you are very much there. If I am the answer, if I have problems and I am the answer, then I don't have any problem. Then all that I have to do is just use myself, use my sanity, use my growth, use my information, use my knowledge, use my education to solve my problems. Then I have no problems. If I have a problem and the answer is somewhere else, then I have a problem. Then I have a problem. If I have a problem and the answer is elsewhere, then I have a real problem, because how do I get that answer? If I have a problem and I am the answer, then I can solve my problem in the light of myself. This is what Krishna is teaching. Hey Buddha Sharanam Anvicha, take refuge in your own growth. Take refuge in your own growth. This is over. Next verse, let us read. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmad yogaya yujyasva yogah karmasu kaushalam. This is called, samatva buddhi. Samatva means what? I do my duties with a prayer to God, accept the results as His prasadam. This is it looks as though an outdated concept. Doing duties as a prayer to God sounds outdated. No, it's not outdated. It's not outdated, please. That is ever relevant. Because it's like being truthful. Is it outdated? Just let us look at life. We say, anything that is, time-tested value. Even the ancient values, we always look at them as out of fashion. You have to be manipulative, that is in fashion. But being truthful makes you naive, stupid, and you are manipulated by others. Therefore, don't be truthful. If you are honest, people will manipulate you. If you are truthful, manipulate you. If you are simplistic, manipulate you. Therefore, you should be it's not true. Therefore, just as being truthful is ever relevant, honesty is ever relevant, that is the only thing ultimately one can find one answers in those values of Brahma. In the same manner here also, that is, this doing duties prayerfully to God is not outdated or out of fashion. In fact, that is what can comfort you. That is ever relevant. In fact, this world, even having become ultra-modern, ultimately they will have to make a full circle and come back to that old value of doing duties prayerfully. Doing duties and accepting as prasadam. That attitude has to come. Anyway, buddhi yuktaha, look at this phrase. Buddhi yuktaha means endowed with the right attitude. The one who is endowed with the right attitude. Right attitude means, it is not just, it's not a different attitude. It is a right attitude. The right is right eternally. Like being honest is right for eternity, forever. Being non-violent, being honesty is an eternal value. It is an eternal value. It's not that, it goes out of fashion. It becomes irrelevant in a given century, in a given yuga. Similarly, truthfulness is relevant in all the 4 yugas, always. Ever relevant. Dharma is ever relevant. Similarly, a right attitude is one which is ever relevant. What is that? Doing duties with a sense of duty and prayer to God. Because our need is to grow. And what can help us grow? And growth means growing out of impulses. And growing out of impulses means prayer. Understand? Prayer is an eternal value. I have conveyed a lot. How much you have received, I don't know. Our need is not to collect. Our need is not to accumulate. Our need is not to indulge. Our need is to grow. Our need is to grow. I'll give you an example. You always tell a schoolboy, your need is not to work and accumulate. Your need is to study and grow. I tell you, this applies to the human being till the end of life. It is not that really the need to study and grow is over by the time you are 25. We are in need of studying and growing till the end of life until we discover that great comfort within ourselves. Until we discover that great comfort which is our nature. Therefore, because our need is to grow within, and what can help us grow is prayer. Therefore, prayer becomes an essential means by which we can grow. Therefore, if growth is a need, prayer also is a need. If eating is a need, then working also is a need, like that. If growth is a need, can't we grow without prayer? No. This is the thing. This is something to be taught. Can't an atheist grow? Can't an atheist grow? He may grow in terms of materialism, but he can never grow in terms of the person. Meaning what? He can never grow, because this growth is something growing out of impulses, plus growth also includes switching attention from the material world to the observer. Atheism does not include switching attention from the material world to the person, the subject. Because for an atheist, there is no such a thing called self. For an atheist, there is only flesh and appeasing the flesh. A materialist only has flesh and appease the flesh. Whereas bhakti, devotion, means really, devotion not only helps me grow out of the impulses, it helps me move from matter to the spirit. बहुत बड़ी बात है जी. It helps me move from matter to the spirit. It helps me move my attention from the form to the seer, from the object to the subject, from the mundane to the spiritual, from the world to the subject. Prayer helps me grow, and that growth includes even moving from the world to the spirit. Therefore, this growth being our essential need, prayer also becomes a need. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Buddhi Yuktaha means the one who is endowed with that prayer in the mind. That person. Jahati. The one who is prayerful is also growing. Prayerful. Prayer is different from a ritual. Then immediately you will ask a question, Swamiji, what about those people who visit the temples every day, but we see them the same every day? For example, my own mother-in-law. every day, or somebody. You always say, no, he goes to the temple, Rose Ramcharitmanas padhte hain, lekin waise ke waise hain. In fact, becoming worse and worse. When Sundarakandam was on, she was better. When Yuddhakandam started, my God, she is imbibing all that she is reading. She is not independent in thinking at all. Therefore, what is the use of this prayer, Swami? You are trying to convince us that prayer is going to help us grow. I say ritual is different from prayer. Giving mechanically is different from giving with a feeling. Supposing you have a lot of money, you want to throw charities. Are you able to follow? This is very important. One is giving charities, the other is throwing charities. You don't benefit by throwing charities, but when you give charity with a feeling, it is helping you. You transform when you give charity. You don't transform by throwing charities. When you give charity with a feeling of a prayer, that is why you say Shraddhaya Deyam, Ashraddhaya Deyam, Shriya Deyam, Griya Deyam, Biya Deyam, Samvida Deyam. It's a very beautiful thing. Give with Shraddha. That will help you, etc., etc. And therefore, just as a ritual doesn't help you grow, but prayer helps you grow. Just giving something without feeling doesn't help you grow, but giving with feeling. What is that feeling? That feeling is, well, in God's creation, we are all born in different situations. Sometimes I am in need, sometimes somebody else is in need. And just because somebody is in need, it doesn't mean he is inferior to me. He is just less fortunate than me, not inferior to me. There is a difference between looking upon a person being less fortunate, not inferior. You should look upon your Ramu less fortunate, not inferior to you. The moment you look upon a person as less fortunate, you don't despise him. You don't despise him. You don't demean him. You don't insult him. You look upon him with respect. Thus look upon a man who is poor, look upon him not as inferior but less fortunate. I mean, sometimes he can be unfortunate, sometimes I can be unfortunate, because fortune is like Mercury. You know Mercury? Lakshmi is mercurial. Fortune is mercurial. Now it is with you, not. लक्ष्मी के बारे में कुछ बता नहीं सकते, फॉर्च्यून के बारे में कुछ नहीं बता सकते. And therefore, I should look upon a poor man as less fortunate and a richer man more fortunate. Fortunate means materially speaking. That's all. Otherwise, not that really the one who is poorer than me is inferior to me and richer than me is superior to me. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. And therefore, now I am telling, I am coming back to the point. When you give really something with a feeling, it will help you grow. You are growing. And if you just give without a feeling, same way. Ritual is what? Without a feeling of prayer. It is doing something. It is just a formality fulfilled. It is just a ritual without a feeling. It is a ritual without a feeling, really. Like in marriage, there is a ritual. But really, do people have any feeling? No, there is no feeling. They say, we don't mind really even going to court and just putting a signature and that's it. Why all these things? They don't respect really. Here is a situation. It's a serious turning point in life. We require God's grace. And we require not only the grace of one Devata, we require the grace of all Devatas. In this manner, at least, you try to invoke everybody's grace so that, the marriage can work. I mean, it's a nice thing. It's a nice sentiment. It's a prayer. And now, when I really offer a prayer, when I really sit with the ritual, when I am a part of that ritual with a lot of feeling within me, then it becomes a prayer, and definitely that prayer will bring some blessing. Supposing I don't have a feeling, and I am just, I feel with great boredom in my mind, I sit there, waiting, praying to God. That is a prayer. Hey Bhagavan, when will this be over? Hey Bhagavan. See, then he becomes very genuinely prayerful. Hey Bhagavan, let this ritual be over quickly. And then, maybe that prayer will bring some grace. But that prayer will bring what you asked for. Because you asked for the ritual to be over, the ritual will be over. Then that prayer is neutralized. That is why prayer, genuine prayer, brings about change and growth in us, not ritual. That is why here he says, Buddhi Yuktaha, endowed with prayer. The next word, Jahati, renounces. A person who is endowed with the right attitude, he renounces. What does he renounce? Ubhe, both. Sukrita Dushkrite, he renounces the thinking in terms of punya and papa. Sukrita means punya, Dushkrita means papa. He doesn't work for punya, nor does he work for papa. He works for inner growth. Growth is different from punya papa. It's a very beautiful topic. Punya is something, punya is something which promises material security in future. Papa is something that comes in the way of your prosperity in future. Punya Papa. Here Krishna says you do your duty neither for punya nor for papa. You do your duty for your inner growth, because our need is to grow. Jiva has to grow and grow and grow in order to discover himself being the answer to all his problems. He is the answer. Because if I feel the problems within me, I can't have the answer elsewhere. Jahan problem hai, wahin par answer bhi hai. Jahan problem hai, if it is there, if my problems are felt in my thinking, my answers also should be there in my thinking. It's like if I think anger, then where lies the answer? In my thinking. I should think in such a manner, I should sober down. I should use my mind to cool myself down. I should cool myself down. I can't cool myself down. I have to cool myself down. That means the answer to my anger lies within me. Nobody else can cool my anger. Supposing you are angry with your, you are angry with your driver. And the driver says, cool down, cool down, cool down. Will you cool down? You tell your driver is angry, and the driver says, somewhere he had heard, he picked up this phrase. What is that? Cool down. What will you do now? You will cool down, you will become angry. Therefore, when others tell you cool down, you become more angry. Therefore, you better say to yourself, cool down. Therefore, if others say cool down, and if I cool down, then my answer lies with them. If others tell cool down, and if I cool down, my answer lies with them. And I have to appoint a few people to be all the time traveling with me, so that whenever I lose my temper, I give them the job to tell me, cool down. Then I cool down. Does it work? I have to tell myself, cool down. Then, that means my answer lies myself. Therefore, here it says, Sukruta Dushkrite, may you not do your duties merely for immediate and later material security. Don't do your duties, don't use your resources, don't use your energies merely for material securities. Use your resources and faculties for your own inner growth. And growth means growing out of impulses. And growth also means growing from the form to the seer. Growing from the object to the subject. Growing from the observed to the observer. Growing from the creation to the source. This is called growing. Growing means growing out of impulses, and growing means moving from the object to the subject. This kind of growth is facilitated by, this kind of growth is our need, and therefore, do your duties not for immediate or later securities. Securities are a secondary thing, they are there. But you have to do it mainly for your growth. Ubhe sukrata dushkrute. Up to this line we have seen, we see the second line. And we come back in the next verse. Therefore, next line is going to come up with a nice phrase, a quotable quote. Tasmad yoga vijyasva. Yoga karmasu aushalam. You see, disturbing yourself. Your disturbing yourself doesn't lie your wisdom. You are calming yourself down lies your